All right, sorry about that. Hope you guys can still hear me. Yeah. So Chris is an entrepreneur basically, and he has worked with startups. He has worked with companies, over 20 of them. I think I brought up his bio just now, right? He's a super amazing person. So you should know that what you will be learning today is literally gonna 10x your business, whatever stage it is you are. All right. And I want you to sit back. Don't This is not just one of those things you just come and you just watch and you just go back. No. From day one, I've made sure that all the things our speakers have been telling us and bringing up for us are practical things, things that when you apply, you're literally gonna get results. So without any further ado, Chris, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Derry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Awesome. Good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. My name is Kennedy Chris. Thank you, Tracy, for that warm intro. First, I'm an entrepreneur. I build and run multiple businesses. And secondly, I build systems and business models for founders, startup companies, and generally all scale of businesses. So, to just help them scale faster and get to their destination much more easier. Right. Without any further ado, I won't take much of your time, but I've come here with some golden freebies. So I want you to treat this as you would a paid consultation, right? So there's no presentation, so you might need to be extra attentive to make sure if you have like a notepad or you have any writing tools to note down most of the things I'm going to be saying. That will be a great, you know that'll be awesome. All right. So today I'm going to be discussing, or I'm going to be sharing with you, 5 pillars to 10x and your general operations. 5 pillars. All right. So no matter the scale of your business, whether it's a startup, whether it's an idea, whether it's a running business with a clear model that is working for you, looking to expand or scale profit, um, these 5 pillars would help you. So my advice would be to pick one that speaks to your current stage of businesses, or speaks to your status, your business status at the moment, whether it be an idea, whether it be um, a startup business that's just trying to figure out things, or whether it be a running business. So just pick the one that speaks to you at the moment directly and run with that. So the first, sorry, I'm going to be reading some of the headlines from my notes, outlines from my notes. So the first pillar to 10x your business is clarity. You want to be clear on your business model, right? Most founders often, are unclear and unsure of their business model. And what makes up like a business model? What is a business model? So a business model is the flow of your business, right? The flow of your business at the current stage where you are, right? Let's say you're a startup business. Sorry, just like uh, so just hold on. I think I'm having a little network issue. So I'm working with my pad. So my pad just went off. Let me reconnect that. Just a sec. All right. So firstly, we're talking about clarity, right? Clarity on your business model. What makes up a business model? First, you want to the business model is the flow of your business at the current stage where you are. So if you're a startup business, firstly, you want to understand, you want to be clear on what you're selling and to whom you're selling to, right? Let's say you are a startup business selling clothes, thrift wares. You want to be clear on who you're selling to. So your product is thrift wares. So you want to be clear on who you're selling to. So you're basically selling to people that are on a budget but looking to get good wares, right? So that's you want to be clear on your audience. Sorry, I still have a network issue. Let me reload this thing. So you you want to be clear on your audience, right? So this is like a clear example. So instead of um, the reason why you have to be clear on your services and to whom you're selling to is to be able to niche down, right? Because most startup makes is um, they generalize, right? And the thing about generalization is not bad, but it takes um, a lot of capacity. Um, it takes a lot of capacity to be able to generalize. So as a startup business, right? A startup business most likely don't have that capacity to generalize. So for example, you're selling thrift wares and let's say you are generalizing. So let's look for something practical to explain this, right? So let's say you're selling thrift wares. So you want to market what you're selling. So instead of you know most business will often just put up an ad, say, oh, um, we sell thrift wares, at so rate. Um, do well to check out our thrift wares, this and that, right? Why that sounds like a good, presentation of what the business is at the moment is not actually speaking to a specific audience. And the way you speak to a specific audience is through, humanizing your content. For example, so instead of putting out an ad, of your services, of all your services, are like, okay, this is what we offer. You want to speak to the audience, like, oh, um, if you are on a budget and looking to get high quality wares, um, we have this also, this, and this that are premium quality and will suit your budget, right? So if you market this way, I just mentioned, or I just said right now, you are speaking to a direct audience. So basically, what you just done is you have humanized, your marketing. So you are speaking to somebody directly, right? So that's why it's very, eminent that first of all you are clear on your audience, the direct market you want to sell to, you ought to sell to. So instead of just starting a business and just publishing it and just hoping that um, anybody buys, so you want to be clear on your audience and speak to that audience, right? So basically, I'm still having network issues. Let's see if you can come on again. Let me connect to my other router. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm back. So sorry. You here? Um, JC, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just type in the chat. Hello, you here? All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. So first pillar that we mentioned clarity, right? You want to be clear on your business model, what you're selling, and to whom you're selling to. So you want to identify, like I said, your core services. Okay, now we are selling thriftwear. Thriftwear is your core service. Who are you selling to? You're selling to people on a budget looking to get, good clothes. On a budget looking to get good wares, right? So those are your target audience, people that are on a budget looking to get good wares, right? So basically, you want to cut out the noise. So cutting out the noise is niching down on a particular audience, just as I've explained, right? So you want to, secondly, you want to create like a service package, right? You want to create, how would I put it? You want to create an unresistible or a very loud service package that speaks to that audience. So now this is you trying to create a business flow. Like I told you, what a business model is your flow, the flow, your business flow, your flow of operations, your from product to sales. That's what a business model is. So now the best, like now we are talking about models. So the best way now to set up your model is one. So some businesses are not in this category. That's why I said there are five pillars. So you pick the one that directly speaks to you right now. So this pillar one, clarity, most likely speaks to businesses there that are still trying to figure out, you know, how to go about their businesses. So this is how to go about it. You need to create a business model. You have to come up with a business model. And how do you come up with a business model? Identify your core services, identify what you offer, right? Two, you want to cut out the noise, right? How do you cut out the noise? By majoring on a particular audience that needs that service particularly, right? And humanize your content to them specifically, like you're speaking to somebody. So you want to imagine your audience like a person you are talking to, right? So that's the best way to be able to come up with content ideas or strategies to speak to them, right? You want to imagine them as somebody that's in front of you, and you're trying to, the person problem, somebody that's in front of you, that you're aware of the person's problem, you're aware of the person's limitations, apply it, and you are offering them a direct service, right? So that's how you want to picture your audience, right? Three is to create a strong and irresistible offer. One strong one, one strong and irresistible offer. This is what you'll be selling to your audience. So, for example, say taking a cue from the thrift example I've been using, I don't know why I didn't get another example or any other thing didn't come to my head, but let's just stick to thrift, right? So let's say for somebody selling thrift, right? You want to offer like a package service. So instead of like selling one, you want to sell them in bundle. For example, um, get um, let's say one shirt is for 3,000 naira, right? Um, you're selling one shirt for like 3K, and to create a striking package, an unresistible package, you now put them into a bundle and sell five shirts for 10K. So now let's say the original price of those shirts are like, let's say you got them for like 1K, 1K. So you want to put the single price of your product. Let's say you want to put the single price, what it will cost to purchase one single item. You want to put it as at like a base value or at a static value of let's say for 3,000, right? And you got that shirt for like 1,000, right? So instead of focusing on selling that one item or selling those shirts individually, you want to put them into a bundle package, right? You want to put them into a bundle package. So instead of trying to sell one for 3,000 naira, making a gain of 2k per piece, you want to put them into a bundle. Let's say selling five, right, for 2,000 naira, giving a bundle of like 10k. So um, that that package would be more appealing to your audience, right? It will be something your audience will want to take advantage of. So it will become like a very interesting offer to your audience. So instead of trying to sell one for 3k, right? Yes, that might get some interest, right? But it will not get as much interest as reducing the price and selling them in a bundle, right? So instead of selling them like selling the single items, you want to put them into an irresistible bundle or a service package and sell that. You'll find out that most of your audience will end up going towards that route because they want to take advantage of those offers. Like for me, I think early this year, um, I wanted to. I think I ran out at some point. I had limited housewares, so on IG, I saw some guys. I think maybe that's the reason why like this thrift idea is stuck to my head right now. So I saw some like a brand, you know, offering a bundle package, right, for some shirts, and I had an idea of what those shirts would have cost individually. So they were offering the bundle package for those shirts. They were like five for like 20k or 25k, right? So ideally, those shirts individually cost like 8k or 99k, right? But now them putting it into a package and selling it 25k sounded like a good offer to me. In fact, it was a great offer to me, and immediately, I went with that plan. And I saw that a lot of people in the comment section also was interested, in getting the entire bundle. So that kind of explains what I'm trying to pass here. So instead of trying to sell, you know, one item or trying to make so much profit from one particular item, create a bundle package, create a service package, and sell that, right? Something very affordable but can also profit you. So just imagine selling five, like you got the shirt for like 1k, and you're selling it for 2k. So instead of selling one for 3k and making 2k profit, you sold five and you made 5k profit. So which would you rather, you know, go for? Which profit would you rather go for? Would you rather go in bulk and make more profit, or sell single and make, more profit on a single purchase but less patronage? So, but most advisably, you go with the second one, which is you put them in a bundle package, something very attractive. So the second pillar is a second pillar to 10x your business. This is one that should be taken most seriously, is visibility. So you want to build a brand presence, right? You want to build a brand presence, even if you're selling, or even if you're offering that business from the four corners of your room, like me, or offering the services from the four corners of your room. You want to build a solid brand presence, right? First of all, to build a solid brand presence, like I said, you have to understand number one. You have to be clear on number one, who you're selling to and what you're selling. So you have that figured out, right? So now, visibility, your branding, right? To be able to attract these people, or to be able to connect to these people, right? So you want to stage of visibility. So let's look for like some practical ways, right? You can be visible right now. Social media, obviously. So you want to create social media accounts. Um, you want to create content, So you want to have social media account for your brand. You want to leave WhatsApp. Some people do their business from only WhatsApp. Yeah, some people do their business from only WhatsApp, which is not bad, but I mean, WhatsApp is only based off or based on referrals. And yes, if your product is great, you might get a ton of referrals, but it's not sustainable, right? Because it has limited reach. So what you want to do is to you know reach beyond WhatsApp if you're just doing your business in WhatsApp. So I'm speaking to the WhatsApp businesses right now. So you want to try to create a solid brand online through social media. Um, and secondly, you want to build like a funnel, right? So how do you build a funnel? Um, for a startup brand, it's something like it should go something like content, lead, conversation, retention. So this is for a startup brand or for an ideation business or even an established brand. This funnel also works. Content, lead, conversion, and retention. So let's say you're using social media, right? Depending on your business type in quotes. Let's say Instagram and TikTok. This platform, Instagram and TikTok, is mostly for B2C, businesses. So B2C is business to customer, right? So if you're running a business that speaks to customer, that is customer related, that speaks to customer directly, um, IG and TikTok is your go-to, right? Let's say you're selling thrift wears again, um, IG and TikTok is your go-to. So you want to go to IG, you want to talk about your business, you want to post about your business, you want to market and humanize your content to the target audience of which you're speaking to. So you are generating content, you are creating content to be able to generate leads to be able to get retention, leads to be able to get conversion, and conversion to get retention. So what that means is that you create content that is able to speak to your target audience. So those target audience are interested, right? They reach out to you either through your comment section, either they DM you, right? That is leads. So lead in quotes is not sale. Lead is that you got the awareness of the customer. That is what a lead is, right? So you see that customers are interested in this product. So how you optimize, or how you choose to follow up that lead and optimize that lead, that is what will result into sale. So how to convert that lead into sale, that is where the conversion comes in, right? So from that lead, that conversion, I'm going to speak in depth on it, right? How to create systems to be able to help you with conversion, right? So you've gotten those lead, how do you convert them into sale? So basically, on this pillar is building a digital presence that sells or that scales, right? You want to build a digital presence through social media, and this digital presence, you want to model it after this funnel. You want to create content. Number one, that's the first thing you do. You want to create content. That content would help you get lead. So this is the flow, right? That content will help you get lead. That lead will go to conversion, can get you can convert that lead, and that conversion can lead to retention. So retention is basically when your customers like your product and they end up coming to you, or they choose you as their vendor. So basically when you have offered them something they like, or something you know based off how that retention, um, I'm going to expatiate on that in a bit, on the next pillar. So you want to utilize platforms like Instagram and TikTok if you are speaking to customer directly. So if you are a B2B business, you want to utilize LinkedIn. So B2B business is businesses that offer services or products to other businesses. So for example, if you're a tech business and let's say um, you're offering SMS, um, or OTP authenticator APIs to businesses. You want to use LinkedIn as your channel. You want to use YouTube, as your channel. You are offering business. You are a business offering service to other business. So, for example, let's say you're an agency offering services to companies and businesses, like my agency right now. We are a creative agency. We offer business services, web development, creative design, and so many other services to businesses. The channel mostly you want to use is LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. We're mostly majoring on LinkedIn, right? You want to major on LinkedIn if you're a B2B company. So if you are a B2C company, you want to optimize Instagram and TikTok because you are speaking directly to consumers and customers. And where does your average consumer or customer, where would they be? What social media would they likely be on? It's Instagram or TikTok. So that's your direct channel to get to reach them. So now, if you are a startup business, one way to close deal is through WhatsApp. One way to close and retain, customers is through WhatsApp. So, like I said, it's a funnel. So you create content, right? Those contents get you lead. You convert those lead into retention, right? So one of the channels to convert those lead into retention is through WhatsApp. So let's say you've gotten them from your Instagram or TikTok, right? And they want to make inquiries on your services. Maybe there's a WhatsApp, maybe you put a WhatsApp link or a channel to connect to you directly on your link on your bio, so for them to connect to you. So one of the best ways to do that, if you're a startup business or if you are a B2C business, right? Your business is customer oriented. Your business is directly to consumers. Sorry, you want to use WhatsApp. So, but if you're a B2C, if you're a B2B business, so you offer services or products to businesses, you want to use platform like Slack. You want to use platform like um, Slack. You want to use platform like Slack. You want to use email. You want to use Hotspot, right? So, but majorly Slack and email. Those are like the channels to close deals B2B. But for B2C, definitely WhatsApp or even IG, or most likely WhatsApp for retention because you want to get to create or have a relationship sort of with your customer. You want to have a cordial relationship with your customer and you want to put them in a place where it feels personal and they get to see your product more often and you want them to choose you as their seller or their service provider or their vendor. So WhatsApp is definitely a great channel to do that. For also for startup businesses or mostly businesses that are into product selling, you're selling products or even offering services, you want to have a landing page. So let's say you're a startup business, you want to have a landing page. So that landing page, there are platforms that help you do that. So um, you can use Wix, you can use WordPress, you can use Framer, or you can use storefronts like Paystack storefronts. You can use Seller. Just have a reference point that people can go to aside, your social media to get to, see your offerings, right? Aside social media. Um, Now to the third pillar, to 10x your business, right? You want to automate processes that drain you. You want to automate recurring work or taxes that you do. Let's say, for example, um, you are a thrift seller. You sell thrift. So let's stick to that. So you sell thrift. So you notice that um, people naturally, you get leads from IG, or you get leads from your WhatsApp status, or you get leads from TikTok. So you want to automate that. You might not be able to respond, so it's taxing to get to respond to all the comments, right? All the comments. Let's say you get like 50 comments, or you get like 100 comments. It's taxing to be able to respond to all the comments in record time, right? Because interest, you know, fades up over time. So you want to get them at that time of their interest. So it's very taxing to be able to meet up that. So one thing you want to do is to automate this process, right? So you want to use platforms like uh, what's this platform? Mm, just a sec. But you want to use reply automation platforms to help you automate your replies, right? You want to help you automatically reply, and kind of communicate with those leads, via DM. So, for example, there are platforms, there are auto reply platforms available. I can't remember anyone right now, but if you're in the group chat of if you're in the 10x business group chat, I would definitely lay out some of those resources out there that you could use, and also send you some part of my notes. But there are auto reply chat that you could use to automatically reply people immediately, and also direct the conversation to your DM or to the appropriate channel, right? So let's say, yes, you reply. I'm trying to take us through the flow of a shift vendor. So you create content, you get leads through DMs, or you get leads through comments. So the idea is to be able to convert that lead into sale, because I told you, getting leads is not sales. Getting leads is basically getting interest. So the ability to convert that interest into sale is what you're trying to automate right now. So let's say the next thing you want to um, uh, the next thing you want to do is to get that interest, let's say through comments, to a point where you guys can have a conversation, maybe on WhatsApp, on IG. Um, if the person wants to make inquiry, you can have an like a auto, you know, selection where the person can just choose from the available options right there to help, and direct the person's thoughts, and also make things easier for you. So if you notice, there are some platforms where if you want to make inquiries, or once you go to their DM, you see some options of what you can choose from in terms of your need. Let's say you've already showed interest from a particular, um, let's say you want to buy a shirt, so you have gotten to their DM, so you see options like what size, what size, what color, what variation, and where do you live. So those options automatically helps, direct the thoughts of the user. So if you have that, it's that these are details that you normally need. So you want to have those processes automated, right? So even if you are not online, these details and this follow-up are already going on in the background, right? So you want to automate taxing, or draining processes. And for startup business, that's one way to do it. I'm going to be putting out highlighting some platforms you can use to do that if you're in the 10s group. So keep an eye out for that. Um, so you want to automate responses. You want to automate invoices. So if you're a service-based company, you offer service, you want to automate invoices. For example, you want to use platforms like Hotspot to do that. You want to use hotspots. Like hotspots is the most popular, and is the one that I most likely use, and I think is one of the most widely used, and that's what I use, and I recommend it strongly. So you want to use hotspots. But there are other hotspots is a complete CRM actually, so it might be maybe broad, but there are other strictly direct invoice, auto invoice creator, or auto invoice platforms that can help you automatically send invoices based off the client leads. So like I said, all these resources I'm going to be outlining them and sending them to the 10x business group. So you want to keep an eye for that. So you want to use your CRM to track leads. So CRM, customer relations management tool. That's what CRM means. So basically, this might most likely apply to B2B businesses, but it also applies to B2C businesses, but functionally for B2B businesses. So to be able to like get track your leads, right, and maybe send if you know, like for B2B business, I told you communicate majorly through Slack and email. So to be able to send automated emails, and keep up with leads, and to be able to just keep up with your leads, Hotspot CRM is like the best platform to do that. So CRM is a customer relations management tool. So you might want to research that and get more in-depth knowledge on that. And if you're able um, to study and give yourself time to learn about that, it will definitely help your business if you are looking to scale past um, your local region or your domain of operations at the moment. So if you are looking to scale, you might want to add that to your arsenal, your knowledge arsenal, CRM. So you want to automate payments. You want to automate payments. You want to automate customer follow-up. Let's say, yeah, you want to just automate messages. Let's say for um, your lead has indicated interest and for some reason hasn't proceed to buy. Let's say after a day or two or after a couple hours without progress, there'll be an automated email or message sent to that person. So basically, what you want to do is to automate your process, repetitive process, any process you know that you repeat a lot, checking up feedback. You want to automate all those things, right? On WhatsApp, on WhatsApp Business, there are so many automation um, you know functionalities now available, like messages, like short notes. So like you can already pre-save some type of messages that if you just type a specific command, those messages will come, so you don't have to retype it. So that's some type of automation. So if you know there are things that you repeat all the time, you want to find a way to automate those processes. And WhatsApp Business has a lot of useful functionalities you could use to do that. Like I said, if you're on the 10x business group, I'm going to be laying out some of those functions to help you. um, you want to automate your digital workflow. So when I mean automate your digital workflow is your, let's say, your storefront. If you have a website, let's say if you have an e-com site, you want to automate your workflows. For example, um, how do I best explain this in a very simple term, right? So generally, right, our medium of communication is through, we use technology as our medium of communication, so we communicate digitally. So automating your digital workflow is basically automating every single process of your flow, every single process of your business model, right? So basically, leaving the important work to you, but taking care of, um, you know, the less important ones. So there's no less important one really, but the basically creating a system that can work for you while you sleep. So even if you are asleep or you are not available at the moment, there's still some follow up, there's still some interactions that will keep that lead afloat, till you are fully back online and can interact. So that is what I mean by digitally automating your workflow, right? So if you can automate every single process, of your workflow, do it. And the best way to do that is through learning. So there are platforms that can help you do that. Even on IG, there are platforms that can be integrated into your IG that can work well with your IG to automate some of the repetitive tasks you do on IG. Mostly when you run a business, there are, like I told you, there are platforms you can integrate with WhatsApp that can automate your um, conversion or your leads on WhatsApp. So there are APIs, there are integrations you can use. There are even AI tools, that can be integrated into your current system of operations. So like I said, I'm going to be dropping some of those tools in the 10x business group. So do well to look out for those tools. So I'll go to the fourth pillar. So I'm almost at the end, which is sales. Sales. So I'm going to teach you. I'm majorly going to be outlining, how to master the art of closing deals. So when I mean master the art, I mean master ART, art, ART. So basically, art is an acronym for attract, relationship, and transaction. So the A stands for attract customers with content, right? To attract customers with content, ads, and partnership. So A stands for attract. That is that's the number one act of closing deals. First of all, you want to attract customers. And how do you attract customers? With content, with ads, and with partnership. So not all customers come with just trendy services in their face, right? Like just hey, just if you see a random ad on IG or let's say anywhere, and you just the ads is just random. Maybe it's a picture or uh, or just it's just a random ad with no specifics. So it's just a picture of a trouser, right, on IG, right? Except you personally have a contact with that person, right? So you have a contact with that person, and you want to hello, can you hear me? Before that ad or post basically would speak to you. But attracting customers using content goes way beyond just posting generically. You have to be intentional. So, how to be intentional first is to understand the first pillar, which is clear. You have to be clear on what you're offering right now and to whom you're offering it, or who is willing to buy that, or basically who you're selling to, right? So, let's say, for example, you are selling thrift. So, let's say go with the thrift. You want to attract customers, and how do you attract them? You humanize your content. You want to attract them through content. How do you do it? You humanize your content. You speak to them, like you would somebody standing in front of you. Basically, I've made this reference at the beginning or at the introduction, you know, of the first pillar. You have to humanize your content. So instead of just posting, buy this kimono for for 20,000, you want to humanize it and say, okay, for the beautiful ladies, for this, for corporate ladies, you want to humanize it like you're communicating to somebody. So one thing humanizing your content does, it makes it more relatable. So even if I don't have the intention of buying that product, but as because I fit into that category, or whatever you said or whatever you posted speak to me, directly, or I fit into that category. Basically, you've mentioned corporate ladies, you mentioned beautiful ladies, and you said this kimono will be the perfect fit for that office, or that dinner, or that, you have already you have spoken to somebody basically. So you are intentional, um, of you are intentional to the people, or to the kind of people you are looking to sell this product to. So when somebody that fits into that category gets to experience that product or gets to see that product, the person naturally feels compelled to want to know more about that product. So instead of posting generically, you want to humanize your content, and that's one way to attract, um, you know, customers. Two is ads. Basically, you want to run ads to get more reach, to reach more people. So anyhow you could use to, any way you could use to get people, or to get leads, or to get interest, you know, you do it. So first you want to attract. How do you attract? Create attractive content basically. Two, you advertise those contents, you boost those contents, because now you've already spoken to a specific, like to specific people, or the specific market, or the specific audience, or the choice audience you want to sell to. Three is to boost that content, is to promote that content to reach as much of those audience as possible. Three is partnership. Three is partnership. So three is partnership. So how do you partner? So three is partnership. So how does partnership attract? So for example, let's say, I'm trying to get another example aside thrift, because I've mentioned a lot of thrift. I don't know why. That's what it. That's just the only thing I can think of right now. But let's say you sell thrift, right? And I'm trying to give a great example of partnership. So let's say you sell thrift and you notice that um, you're getting more leads, or you're getting a lot of interest from people out of your region, let's say out of the state. You're selling in Abuja and you're getting interest from people in Lagos, um, from people in different part of the country, you know. So one way to create an attractive offer is to partner. So you say, like, you could partner. One way to establish that partnership is to connect to a logistics company, um, and include the logistics in the package. So let's say you're selling those five shirts, which normally cost 8,000 naira, but you're selling them as a bundle for 5,000 naira. That's 25,000 naira in pairs. Um, you're selling them as a bundle for 25,000 naira. Like, you're selling five of those items as a bundle for 25,000 naira. So you, instead of selling them for 25,000 naira, you now said, take this bundle for 30k, including logistics, to any. If you're in Lagos, 25k. If you sell it, you package it and sell, as a bundle. Like as I said, just package everything, sell them as a bundle. So now you now include a specific service that you know that people normally, it's a concern to people. So when people reach out, most of them will ask, "Do you ship? Do you ship to different location, or do how much will the logistics cost?" So right now, if you have gotten the understanding of how much logistics cost in specific areas or whatever, and you package it into a wholesome bundle. Okay, if you're buying from Lagos, it's 25,000, but outside Lagos, including logistics, is 30,000 naira. So that's partnership. That's one way to partner, right? So partnership doesn't have to be direct, but partnership is any form of attachment or affiliation that you can use, to solve a specific need, or address a specific market and solve their problems. So you know that most of the people you're selling to, if you're selling thrift, would most likely want it delivered to them. So how do you take care of that hurdle? By creating a bundle, by partnering um, with a logistic company that can help them, that can deliver to their doorstep. So now your customers don't have to worry about how they'll get their products, and all of that. So that brings me to R. So we mentioned A, and A is attract. Attract. How do you attract customers? With content, ads, or partnership? Then it brings me to R. So I'm trying to teach you the art of closing deals, or the art of sales. Basically, that brings me to R, relationship. So relationship, you want to, like, talk to leads like humans. right? Ask questions. You want to talk to leads as humans. So, like I said, just like what I've always been, like what I've been saying from the onset, your audience, you have to humanize your audience. So, the best way to market any product is to market it as if you're talking to somebody in front of you, somebody you're aware of their problems and you're offering them a solution, right? That's the best way to market. So you want to humanize, you want to talk to them um, in a human tone. You don't just want to talk to them as clients, but you want to humanize with them. You want to ask questions. For example, um, let's say you're a service-based company. Now I'm not talking about thrift. You're a service-based company offering services to businesses and to brands. Let's say um, technical services like my company. You're a creative agency like my company offering services to brands. So what you want to do is not just to just put out your package or your bundle in their face, right? And just say, okay, um, this bundle costs like a 1 million naira, this bundle costs 2 million naira, and it will solve your problem. No, and most of them will come for the bundle directly. Most of them will just come and say, okay, I want to patronize, want to buy this bundle. But the truth is, the bundle might not be what they need, right? So first of all, you want to get to understand them, right? You want to get to understand their problems. So you want to understand their pain points. And how do you understand their pain points? Is through asking questions, right? Let's say somebody wants to build a website right now, and it's like, okay, I see you have e-com websites for um, 1 million or 2 million. Okay, you're doing e-com website for 2 million. You're doing this. So the person has, went with e-commerce websites. But the truth is, there are types of e-commerce websites. There are different types of e-commerce websites, right? So it's not just offering and just accepting or just going with what the person has already outlined. This is in the case of the customer actually identifying and say, okay, this is what they want. Because you care, right? You want to get to understand their problem more, right? So let's say then you ask questions. You ask questions like, what are you looking to? What do you need an e-commerce website for? What are you looking to solve, or who are you looking to sell to, or what problem are you majorly trying to solve? And you allow them explain to you, or you allow them talk to you. You allow your customers, you allow them speak to you and just air out basically their plight. So based off what you've gathered, the information from them, the data you've gathered from them, you cannot use that to recommend the accurate services that fit their current need and problem. So that's one way to humanize your business, so it doesn't just feel like business as usual. It makes it humanizing with your clients, makes it feel like you care, right? It's not just about collecting their money and just selling to them, but because you want to really add value, to them. You want to really give them value to them. So it's not just about, okay, yeah, because this is what you want. Okay, this is the money, I will just build that for you. But what if they want more? What if that particular value is not really solving their problem, but they think it's solving their problem? That's why you need to ask questions. Just imagine somebody, let's go back to fashion. Let's say somebody on the big side that choose a style that fits somebody on the small size. So just because you know she liked the style doesn't mean that that style is the best, is would bring out is best for her. So you want to ask questions like, why this style? I know this style is great. Why this style? And the person said, I like this style. The person explains to you why you like this style. Then you can, now recommend and say, would you try, like, can you look at this style? I think it will fit you. Looking at you cannot explain to them and pitch something that basically solve, you know, their needs, right? That basically, just pick something that you know would truly be of value to them. How do you do that? You can't. The only way you could do that is to be able to ask questions. So you have the right, to ask questions. You have the right to engage in meaningful conversation with your clients, and that is the right approach. Mostly when you're selling services in particular. Products already have predefined prices, except in the case where you know the customer wants to price and all of that. But let's say you're offering services, creative services like fashion, technical services like tech or whatsoever. You want to get to understand, their choices, and pitch, or recommend what you know will add value, to them, because at the end of the day you are the expert, and you are the only one that can truly recommend something of value to your clients, because your clients only go by sight, but they are not the experts in that field. So you ask questions, humanize with them, because you care and truly want to add value to them. That way, you can be able to offer um, more um, impactful services that will make your clients more retentive and always want to come back to you, because they know that with you it's not just about the money, it's about true value, right? That brings me to the last, not last, okay, I've not talked about T, I've talked about A, I've talked about R. A, attract. R, relationship. Talk to leads like humans. Ask questions, you want to conversate with them. So T, transaction. Close the sale confidently and repeatedly. So let's say you've had a conver- you've had a conversation with the customer, right? And you've found out, the customer's plight, or the situation surrounding the customer, or what you feel like you found out, you've gotten data about the customer, and you've recommended, now you want to recommend um a service. So now you want to recommend. Hello, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, JC. Awesome.
Yes, 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 we can.
Awesome. Thank you. So we are the T, right? We are the T. Okay. So transaction. So you want to close the sales confidently. So how do you close the sale confidently? You've recommended, and you've pitched to them like, this will best suit you, or you pitch to them that you've recommended what basically solve their problem, or what will truly add value to them. So if you go through the route of creating attractive content, or creating attractive packages, and having it, you know, and now you've gotten leads through those content ads or partnership. So leads is when you're in communication with them, and you're able to understand your customers, and through asking them questions, and you'll be able to understand their plight. Now you can now recommend to them the most appropriate, or accurate solution, as regards the data you've been able to extract from your customers. So if you follow this pattern, if you follow the AR, you can confidently now recommend, you know the solution that would best suit your customers. So let's say your customer initially went for a dress, a slim dress or whatsoever of 50K, right? And based off your understanding, based off the R, the relationship, humanizing and talking with your customer, you have understood that um, what she truly wants is, something more you've gotten to understand her. So now you've now pitched to her and you've discovered that what she truly wants, goes beyond 50K, right? So based off you've understood her and you've humanized with her, and now you've recommended something that will truly add value to her, and maybe that thing costs like 80K, you can confidently now say, okay, this package will truly be much more beneficial to you than this other package. Is my network or from the other end, the person will easily go on board with that recommendation you gave, because you could have easily just accepted you know the money. That's for people that already went with an offer or chose a particular thing they want. You could have easily just accepted the money, but no, you were more value centric. You went value first. So you've had a conversation. So the person knows that you have the person at mind and you truly want to create something that would be much more beneficial to them. So when you pitch the accurate or you pitch the appropriate value to them, they'll be more willing to pay you for that. So they'll be more willing to pay you for that. So I don't know if this it keeps going off and on, if it's my network, but that brings us to the end of the fourth pillar, which is mastering the art of closing deals. So the art remain ART, attract, relationship, and transaction. Mastering the art. Right. That brings me to the last pillar, which is the last pillar to 10x your business, which is growth. The ability to scale, and not just scaling, but scaling with data and no, not guesswork, right? So what you want to do is that you want to be informed as a business. All right, you want to be informed as a business. You don't want to guess. Um, you don't want to guess the on the customer's end. You don't want to guess what the customer would probably, you know, the customer's interest, or what is would probably get their interest. You want to get through data. So based off what you've done so far, which of your product or which of your services seem to be getting much more traction. Let's say you post 10 products and you see that people are on your DM for two of those products, right? And you see that out of those 10 products, there's one of the product that is not getting any any leads or traction at all. You want to drop that product and double down on those two that has been getting a lot of traction, right? So you want to scale with data. So you don't want to guess that your customer likes that 10th product, right? And invest in inventory on that product. No, you want to drop that product and focus on the one based off interaction. You posted 10 and you see that out of those 10, people are replying and coming to your DM for just two. So what you want to do is to double down on those two and treat the remaining as noise and treat the two as signal. So signal to noise ratio. So signal is the clear defining part to follow, and noise is the other multiple ways or multiple paths to follow. So when the path is clear and is defined, right, you want to double down on that. But when there are other paths but they are not clear and defined, they are noise. So you want to focus on the products that are getting traction. You want to focus on the services that are getting traction, right? You want to double down on that and drop the ones that are not getting any, right? So one of the big mistake I see so many founders or startup making is they overstock inventory for products that are not needed. right? You see them making purchases, maybe from China, maybe from um, uh, maybe from, you see them making overstocking inventory for products that have not even confirmed if there's any interest. So one thing you want to do before scaling, you know is you want to confirm interest, right? So let's say you have 10 products, but instead of buying all those 10 products in bulk, you want to buy them in a small chunk and see how far they get interest, and you see how much interest those products get, and based off the data you've been able to collect from replies, from DMs, from basically interest from your community or your customers, you will know which product or know which services to double down on, right? And get more of, or promote more of than, and you know which other, and you know which product or services to drop, right? So the ones that gain more traction are the noise, are the signal. The one that doesn't get any traction are the noise. So you drop the noise and focus on the signal, right? So you scale with data. You don't just scale and just take money and invest in a business or invest in a product that is not guaranteed, right? So many people, like, I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and I see these mistakes with a lot of founders, mostly creating products, right? And you see that they have made millions of sales, but they are still at a loss because they overproduced more than they sell. You understand? So basically, they have not gotten that much interest for that product, but they have overproduced their product, guessing, assuming that people will be interested in it. So what you want to do is that you don't want to assume, right? You want to be certain that this product has interest, has people that are willing to buy it, or have people that are interested to buy it, right? Before you even think of investing more in it, right? So you want to be sure. You want to post them first and see the interactions, or see the interest before you invest. So you want to scale with data, right? Um, so basically, um, you want to scale with data. Basically, that brings me to the end of the 5 pillars. So the first pillar was clarity. You have to be clear on your business model, where you are right now, and who you're selling to. Where you are right now, what you're selling, and who you're selling to. Where you are right now, what you're selling, and who you're selling to. You have to be clear on your business model. That's it. Where you are right now, what you're selling, and who you're selling to. So where you are right now would define the capability that you have, right? So you don't want to go more than what you're capable of. You don't want to offer, or you don't want to post services that you're not capable of fulfilling, right? Um, because I've seen these mistakes with a lot of businesses, right? By offering services or products they are not capable of meeting up with, right? You see them offer products for an incredibly discounted rate, or offer some kind of services, and based off the offering that they have, they get like a lot of interest, and they are not able to meet up those interests, and people have paid. They have created systems that you can just pay online for that service and all of that, and they are not able to meet up with those orders, right? So yes, it was successful, but at what cost? It came at the cost of their integrity. So now what happened is that they have killed a business that have not even started. Yes, they got sales, right? But now they are not able to meet up. They will get bad feedback. And nothing kills a business more than bad feedback. So what you want to do is to know where you are right now. Know your capability as a business, or your capacity as a business. Know what you're selling, and to whom you want to sell it to, right? Um, that's the first pillar. You want to be clear. Two, you want to build a digital presence. which is pillar two, visibility. You want to build a digital presence. You want to be out there. You want to push your product out there. You want to put your services out there. Um, you want to market your services out there. And one way to do that is through content. You can't negate content. Um, Content is an intrinsic. Is the most important way of putting out your product, right? Um, you want to do a lot of content, mostly if you're a startup business. You want to do a lot of content. You want to be as visible as possible, right? And it's easier now than ever with so many platforms: Snapchat, TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram. So there's no excuse for not putting out content. But secondly, you want to brand your business. And one thing about branding, I didn't mention much about branding here, maybe because it's like, I don't know, I didn't mention branding here, but let me use this opportunity to chip in. One thing about branding is how you want people to perceive your business, right? I've seen a lot of business that function without branding. Yes, they function, they have something going on with them, but branding gives your business a personality, an identity, right? So branding is one way to make your business stand out from the rest. So there can be a lot of people doing the same thing you're doing, but branding distinguishes between those people, right? You see some people selling thrift wares, right, or selling cars, let's say cars. But what differentiates, you know, one from another and is through branding. So branding helps, gives your company or gives your organization an identity, and an identity gives your customer trust. People are able to trust your platform more. So you see that these buying from the same selling you see that these businesses are selling the same thing, buying from the same vendor, but one seems to be doing more than the other. One seems to be even selling his product higher than the other person, and still getting much more customer than the other person. So how is that possible? Is one is more branded than the other. One has a personality that people can relate to than the other. And when somebody sees something from them, they know that this thing is from them, you know, and that's what branding does. So one way to optimize your visibility is also to brand. Aside just putting out content and all of that, is to brand. Give your content, give your business an identity. It can be as little as a caption, that people know you for a specific caption. Let's say you're doing video, short form video marketing. You're creating a short form video content for your brand or for a particular product, and you start off, using specific slangs or a specific caption. That's enough. That's enough to distinguish your business, right? So that's enough branding to distinguish your business. So anything that you could do to make your business um, more, anything you could do to give your business personality is branding, right? But branding definitely goes way beyond that. But if you're a small business, you can start from that. You could, humanize, like I said, humanize your content, and also personalize your content. Mostly if you're a solo entrepreneur. If you're a solo entrepreneur, personalize your business. Let your brand somewhat reflect, who you are. And one thing that does is, you know, your identity is now matched with the brand, so people relate with you, and your brand. Just like Elon Musk, and Tesla, and the whole thing about Elon Musk and his company is Elon Musk is literally the enigma or the powerhouse behind the interest of his company. So he kind of unified his personality with his brand. In fact, his personality is the brand of all his companies, right? So, and this was something he started from the initials of the business, right? He started from the initials from the business, and this is one of the most effective ways, you know, to brand, personalizing your brand, unifying your brand with your personality, not just with your personality, but with your vision, with um, what with your with your vision, with what you've seen, or with the possibility you've seen your brand to be, right? So that's one thing you want to do. So basically, I'm just summarizing right now. So you want to automate what drains. Pillar three, you want to 10x. You want to automate what drains your time. Through CRM, through automated automation tools, right? Some I'll be dropping. Pillar four, you want to master the art of sales or closing deals. And pillar five, you want to scale. And the best way to scale is to scale with data, so you don't guess, so you don't invest in where you're not sure or certain, right? You want to scale with data. So that brings us to the end of this section. Um, I'm still gonna be on the live. If you have any question, I'll be sending some resources to the group and some of my notes to the group. So if you have any questions, I'll be on here for a short while to answer them. Thank you. Tracy, you here?
Yes, I am. Sorry, give me a second. Thank you so much, Chris. Um, guys, bring me up. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. That was like super awesome. Okay, again, someone sent a summary of the five pillars for building a strong business. You mentioned clarity on business model, um, putting the business out, optimizing visibility, content, marketing, and branding. Awesome. This has really been one great conference. Thank you so much for going really in depth and not leaving any stone untouched. I mean, all this encompasses literally how the already established businesses and companies out there are doing it. And for some reason, I don't know why it was just the thrift business that kept coming to your head. Some people were even in the comments like suggesting other businesses. But that's cool. Probably you have a thing for you should probably consider going into thrift business soon, yeah? All right. Thank you so very much, Chris. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So for those of you wondering how to get access into the community, okay, let me just put the link. Hopefully you should be able to take it. All right. So yeah, it's in the chat box. You can just click it. Get access to the 10x community. All right. And one quick announcement. I know we have went like way beyond our time, but that's totally fine. One of the things I want you to just know is that the replay will be available either I think either tonight or by tomorrow, whenever the team are done working on that. So that's one. Number two, I actually wanted to show you guys some things tonight, but probably that'll be next weekend or something. I would be showing you, especially for those of you that will probably watch the replay, or for those of you that are currently live. Click the link, subscribe, like, follow me on all my social media pages at Dracy. And now this is very important. This coming weekend, or it might probably be before the weekend, um, I will be going live right here again, and I'll be showing you how to build a complete business. In fact, not even just a complete business, a complete company with your salesperson, with your copywriter. Basically, we'll be implementing all the things we have learned here using AI. All right, with your branding, every single thing. And I'm going to show you here like live on call. So it's something you do not want to miss. There will be no recording, just so you know. There won't be a recording for that. If you want to get access to that later on, you probably have to pay or something. But I'll be showing you step by step how to start a business, um, You might not even necessarily want to start the business. You might want to render the services to business people, either through copywriting, through branding. You want to do a logo, you want to do a landing page. Every single thing you need to do from start to finish, to even the ideation, to the documentation, every single thing, to the coming up with your team, your agent. Let me even see if it's possible. I show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I have it loaded up. If I don't, I'll probably just yeah, I'll probably just show you guys something I'm currently building, and it's like really, really mind blowing. For so as many of you that will join in, so click the link, join the 10x community. That's where all the information will be passed across to you. Like Kris also mentioned, he'll be dropping some resources for us as a follow up to this session. So make sure you click the link and you join the
Yeah.
group chat. I also be dropping some resources for you as well.
No, I've popped the video.
Um, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'll be dropping some resources for you as well. So make sure that you are in the community. Very, very important. There's a power in community, and start to finish, how to build a profitable business. If you think you're not a business person, you just want to freelance with these skills, don't worry. Just come, just attend. All right, and you would you'll be wowed. I promise you. And quick disclaimer once again, there won't be a replay. All right, I'm not gonna we're not gonna be putting the replay out there publicly. It is like way too much of a valuable information for it just to be like free or anything like that. So with that being said, I'd like to appreciate my our speaker. Sorry about that. I'd like to appreciate Kris once again for taking his time out to go deep dive into what makes a business and a company profitable. I mean, he has worked with companies, he currently has his. So these are, it doesn't get more practical than this, basically. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you that joined, that commented. Thank you also very much. We're gonna do like super, super awesome things together. Share this YouTube channel, share it, follow me across all my social media pages, and let's go 10x together. This December is going to be like the most amazing December you're ever going to have. Probably you've given up on that. Oh, it's already the end of the year. There's nothing left for me again. Let me just start planning for January 2026. Now, that's not how we do it here. Even from December, I'm telling you, there's still a lot to do, and it's happening in the 10x community. So make sure to click that link, and let me just put it up once again. Yeah, so click the link, join the community, and I'll see you guys on the 10x. And with that, I would like to conclude the 10x Business Growth Conference. Make sure to watch the replays. Make sure to implement. It's not enough to do it. I mean, it's not enough just to attend and to hear. No, please do all these things that you are learning. The reason why you are stuck, the reason why you're still where you are, is because you're not taking enough action. All right. So take action today. Implement and keep implementing, and I promise you, you're going to see the desired result. And like I mentioned, this week, either this weekend or before the weekend, I'll be coming here live again to tell you guys how to build your profitable business, like step by step, not just talk. Like we'll do all the things our speakers have told us very practically using AI. I'm your host once again, Dari Salami. I'm an AI business consultant. And also, for those in the group, the one-on-one consultation with me continues till the end of this weekend. So if you have not joined the community, I want to advise and encourage you to do so, because throughout the end of this week, I'll be wrapping up the one-on-one consultation with businesses that have registered. All the things you need to kickstart your business, you're stuck, I'm going to help you out with that, give you access to resources and partnership. Kris spoke about that you would need. Once again, Kris, thank you so very much for joining, for coming here to wrap up the grand finale of the 10x Business Growth Conference. Thank you so very much. You all have been like super, super amazing. I'm going to see you on the 10x side. Do have a wonderful night rest. Stay in touch. Stay updated. Turn on post notification. Very important of this channel, so you don't miss any of it, because I can just come live like literally anytime just to like dish out um value. All right, guys. Do have a wonderful night rest. And with that, we come to the end of the 10x Business Growth Conference. I'm going to see you on the 10x side, and I am rooting for you that even in this December, you're going to 10x your sales and your revenue. Cheers, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you so much for joining. Cheers.